Welcome, welcome. So yesterday we ended up doing a bit to find a way to draw out our make files, which is nice, so we don't have to repeat ourselves. Um, and did I break my keystroke thing? I tried to do a little bit of a refactor with the keystrokes, and well, it's come through. We'll have to keep an eye on it, but it needs improvement. Um, so we wanted this ported to Haunts. Yeah, and we were trying to get things working. We learned about export as a way to pass variables into included makefiles kind of thing. Um, yeah, I'm not sure why I would need this also. Um, I need to make go sum mod tidy. Why would that be different than what we've been using before? Uh, do I have to update the dev go mod file? Slash, why didn't that happen automatically? Panning doesn't really work, but we should make it work. Hey, Not Slather. Welcome back. You're going to bed as usual? Yep. Hopefully I can have some nice background noise for you. Is this Vim or NeoVim? It is Vim. Um, my config mostly works with NeoVim, but I find that I've got a few quirks in my setup that don't port to NeoVim, so I'm just sticking with Vim for now. Um, it's a color scheme in it's based on Wombat 256.vim, but I've edited it since then and not kept good track of the changes. Um, This is probably it. In case you're interested. Yeah, I just used Pablo. Yeah, I think I've just kind of grabbed this and then been tweaking it to suit my needs ever since, and that was a long time ago. um, but yeah, are you do you prefer NeoVim to Vim? There's claims that it's faster, which I'm always a fan of. I don't really want to have to pass that if I don't need to. Uh, I'm on Windows and Whizzle is really a hassle to set up, so I use GVim. Oh, WSL is a hassle to set up? I, I found it was actually quite painless. Like, you just run the thing on the command line and it lets you have a terminal. Um, but yeah, GVim, if that's what works for you, good on you. I imagine GVim is a Vim thing, not a NeoVim thing. Does NeoVim have a Neo GVim? I don't know enough about NeoVim. Been looking at this diff and I'm wondering what I need to keep of it. This extra DLV args. And then like this is copy pasta. Yeah, it's Vim with GUI instead of terminal. Yep, yep. I don't think there's a Neo GVim. What am I actually trying to do? I'm trying to make sure that uh we can run DLV. It's like GDB but for Go. Um as needed without doing a lot of copy paste redonkulousness. Um maybe extra DLV args should just be DLV args. Hmm. I guess like are there why don't I have a man page for it? Does Delve use environment variables? If it like I'm thinking about if this was a C program, it'd be like I could modify C flags or CXX flags for C++, but um okay. Wow. Okay. Does delve itself read any environment variables? Yeah. Go GC off. Yeah. 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 Is there like a man page for DLV somewhere, please? I guess I was right there. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to get it so that uh, DLV will pass arguments to the build commands. Um, I guess one way to think about that is, does Go read environment variables? I mean, yes, it does. Um, Go flags. Go flags. A space ever list of flag value setting to apply to Go commands by default. The flag is known by the current command. So if I did something like it looks scuffed, I agree, but um, might be less scuffed than this. Test DLV packages house. Oop. I mean, I guess really it's dash mod file dev code tags as no sound. Now the only problem with this, I think, is that I don't see that mod file is devgo mod and tags as no sound. It's what we want, but I want it to be printed because if it's not printed, I'm not going to remember that that's a thing. Um, and that might break other recipes. Like this is probably using the dev.go.mod file instead of dev.go.mod instead of go.mod. Run export. Hmm. Sure. Okay. This might do it. Um, do I need to export it? It's only if it wants to go to sub processes, which is exactly what we want. How far along am I in haunts? Um, we're making progress. We can like start the game. We can click menus and uh, start a level. We can even place non-rendering entities on the map and like allocate things to spawn points that are just drawn as red right now. But this is might not look like a lot, but it's a lot. um, we can even zoom. Look at this. Wow. It needs work in terms of like how it feels, but I can at least see what I'm doing now. We can't really pan around, which is unfortunate, and I'm sure I can get it to crash somehow, but um, yeah, it's pretty sweet. So, the first 80% is done. Now it's just the next 80%. um, but to get that 80%, I really want my tools to not suck. Um, I don't need. Ah, this is copy paste. I will say that test DLV does depend on datadir, um, and that's fine. This will only work if it actually gets no sound and such. And it doesn't seem to have on that, right? G++ couldn't find fmod, probably. Yeah. I'm gonna find reference to fmod event get info. And we don't link against fmod if we correctly pass in tags no sound. Okay. What if we forget about that? Okay. At least it's consistent. So, single package. It's really this. And then we might have to keep exporting it for that to work. Yeah. If we unexport it, saying like when you go to actually run the recipe, don't export it. It's a problem. We can say that, and then again, I think it's going to export the version of GoFlags that's current when we go to run the recipe. So how do we want it to be that test DLV as a GoFlags equals that. I think that's what you do. Let's find out. Nope. I thought you could say like recipe colon variable equals value. Am I misremembering that? I think I wrote these yesterday and I still don't remember. This I think is the closest thing. Uh, set environment variable for single recipe. There was like a nice way to do it, huh? Okay. Hey, do we need the space there? No, we do not. Okay. Cool. Yeah, so many things fail. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's because we're not running with software rendering. But yeah, not Slider. Did I answer your question about how far we are on haunts? We're aggravatingly far, yet not really that far. Okay. Um, this. Hey, look, we don't need that. Um, we can do like dev go flags is that. And then if I break glop, it doesn't use the version of glop on disk, which is exactly what I want. Um, okay. Maybe I should save that before I assert. Okay. Okay, so what do we see? We saw that we can have, dev go mod. Well, actually, let's be sure. So this should fail to compile because glop on disk fails to compile. Poopy. Um, that's not what we want, I think. Sorry, my dog's going nuts. I'll be right back. I'm back. Got myself a snack. Some tea. We'll see what we can do here. Probably want a coaster. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So this doesn't seem to be doing what I thought it would be doing. What the heck? I should like break glop, right? Oh. Any compiler. Okay. I guess we don't have that. Here, right? Except it's not that. It's tags no sound. But the thing is, I don't want it to be kind of invisible. Like I look at this command line. If I copy that into my terminal, I want that to work. But I don't have this. Maybe the thing to do is like redefine testing with XVFB or testing env. Pardon me, I'm still kind of sick. Um, okay. Yeah, the tags no sound is not something to be passing at this point. Hmm. like test run args needs. Yeah. Okay, we're back to we have dev test should fail because we don't have a compile. Sorry, because the glop on disk is not compiling. Mm-hmm. Hmm. I'm struggling with how I want to organize this. Because right now it's just kind of spaghetti. I don't think I ever passed test run itself. Like, why did I have to declare these phony up top? I remember doing it. Oh, for performance. Yeah, that's right. It's really just package here, right? Yeah, so test DLV never got told that, by the way, um, no, new test. It's a build flag though, not a test flag, right? There's build flags. Right? So build flags. The empty string. Make the empty string if it's not defined. Um, we should really call it DLV build flags because it only gets used for DLV. And then DLV build flags is tags no sound. Um, but then test run args. We don't want to use test run args and build flags. Test run args should never have been tags no sound. What's wrong with the testing? Or is it something else? Um, what's wrong is I have a lot of copy paste in my make files, and it's been annoying me for a while, and I'm trying to copy paste them because they're copy paste but slightly divergent, and so I'm trying to factor it out into a library thing. But make is not my first language. And there's a few different cases. Okay, this is what we expect. Right now I've got a little local compiler in glop so that I can test the difference between running against a pin version in GoMod versus the glop on disk. So that's the distinction I want. This should fail. Yep. With build error. Yep. Clean should work. Bump should work. Um, I wonder if the way to think about this is like, think in terms of the CPU processor, because they're just going to be like including the way the CPU processor does it. I wish I had tests. Yeah, I don't need this because test report does that now. Yeah. Then we'll put this at the top because performance or whatever, right? And we need this libgl always software thing to happen because I think right now the test might fail. Oh, they failed to build. um, DLV build flags. How did I used to do it? It was xvfb run with, and I would just pass tags no sound. Okay. Um, perhaps a test build flags is needed. Because why not? Oh man. Never had multiple makefiles on a project. That's the smart way to do it. The problem is I have two projects, and so I'm gonna have at least two makefiles. I don't think we're that far off from it, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. Now, DLV build flags. Is that going to be different from test build flags? No. Other than it's that. And since ChatGPT, I have not wrote one myself in a while. I'm avoiding that. Maybe I'm like AI denier or whatever, but I don't feel like I want to just trust that what ChatGPT spat out and my smoke test covers is enough. Okay. So this is, test build flags. At the end of the day, if make test, make it go, make debug, if those do what I expect, Make it OG. No, make it go. Then I think we're okay. Yeah. That should not build. It did build. Is TestDLV supposed to use the glop on disk, or is it supposed to use the pinned version? Let's find out. Oh, it used to be DLV dash dev test versus DLV dash test. Aha. Give it a real shot today with Gemini CLI, and after 3 hours, I scrapped the whole branch and it feels so bad. Yep. Depending on the problem, it's just not there yet. Okay, so originally I had two arguments, or two targets, DLV test and DLV dev test. What was DLV test is now called test DLV. I should mark these phony here too. Just no cache. And the worst part is that I don't even have the same amount of knowledge I would have gained if I just smacked my head into the keyboard and thinking myself. Yup. That's how the machines really take over, is they make us all dumb. This is unreadable. I think this does what I want. Yeah. Okay. But now test DLV does, in fact, test DLV correctly uses the pinned version of glop. But I want to test DLV test. Test DLV dev test? Test dev test? Something like that. Is there a sensible way for me to incorporate this into like the library file here? thinking. How bad is it that I could use testing end from in the parent makefile? It's not the end of the world. I don't like it though. Should I care? Maybe not. At the end of the day, I just gotta make sure all the things that used to work. Um, did we ever use test prereqs? Don't need those. Let's declare some phony up here, right? Yep. I heard. I don't think I ever used the test run variable. Like when I'm typing things, when I'm actually running tests and things. Um, one thing to do is think, what is it that would be good enough? Good enough would be we're using the build lib stuff and all of our recipes work. I think we're not doing that right now. I don't think I have it set in my environment. Good. Okay. Yeah. So wait, why are our tests passing? Or is it just the thing that they won't pass on CI? No, they should not pass here. Yeah. Because we're not getting that sweet, sweet software renderer. So then here, if we said testing env is actually testing env space testing with XVFB, oops, spilled a bunch of water. Eh. Luckily on no electronics, just on dead trees here. Eh. Need to get a towel. Serves me right for not having a towel. I know better than that. I'd always have a towel at hand. Not too bad. It was just water. Well, that was entirely too exciting. The illusion broke. I thought you lived in a terminal. Yeah, a fancy terminal. What with water and stuff. Nope, I'm a mere visitor to the world of the terminal. Okay, what is the makeism for expand to thing and the empty plus the space, or just the empty string? Um, we have other ifs, right? If n equal testing n and the empty string. I guess if they're equal, then it's just testing env is that. Otherwise, testing env is this. All right. It was like if equals quote quote, and it's like that doesn't look right because testing env was empty. Okay, so then if testing env is set up like that, we ought to be able to say that because of this, testing env right now equals libgl always software is true. Aha. Oh. This needed a 1920 by 1080 by 24. This is only a 512 by 64. Um, that's so many pixels. We have very few tests that need that much screen space. We should make them not need that much screen space. Some tests in haunts need pass with XVFB, but fail with 512 by 64. We can save some cycles, churn, resources if the test were improved. Which test? I don't know. You can find out by passing in the lower resolution, but that's not what we're working on right now. Oh, my to-dos off the charts. Quick, what's the CSS to hide all but the last n elements of an unordered list? Go. Yeah. See, I'm happy to grab crap from that. So I guess I'm just a hypocrite about using AI or not. Let's just have like 10. So every list item inside of an unordered list, such that it's okay. Yeah, okay. I make my intern do my CSS because I really don't want to. Yeah, once again, I can afford an intern, even a free one. I'll get them to do it. This makes us so angry now. Okay, I need a list of like the things that need to my acceptance test. So make it go. Make test no cache. Make test racy. Make test verbose. Make debug. Make test DLB. Make. Devons. Dev. Mod. As a student worker, I find it really funny. I am not the lowest in the hierarchy. Yep. There's an interesting stat. It might be out of date by now, but basically, information technology has been growing at such a rate that you have more experience than half the people in the field in about 5 years. So you're like the grizzled veteran after 5 years, just because like so many new people were getting into it. It's kind of crazy. Kind of makes it make sense when you look at npm packages. I must be a dinosaur. All right, but I think these ones should work, and these ones, well, these should work. Um, should build might fail, and this is should not build. Make or fail. Here I go, making a test. fine. Function fail. Echo, you shall not pass. So far, so good. Is even is very useful, like the CSS selector. Yeah, you have like the dim, bright, dim, bright, dim, bright, dim, bright kind of alternating effect. I think that's where I've seen it used. I'm sure there's other uses. Well, I get to eat my snack and just look at top and wait for it to complain. Oh, the npm package for is even. Yeah, there was a proposal for like a sarcasm marker. Um, I forget if it made it in the emoji set or not. Let's find out. We're just waiting for this. Um, irony punctuation. Yeah. The percontation point. In the 1580s. Unicode U2E2E. Punctus interrogativus. So in your favorite method for Unicode code point entry, it's hex 2E2E, so well, how would I do that? My fingers want to do Control V for like insert a literal. Um, I don't want to hex dump and then unhex dump, but I guess I'm gonna have to. Um, so if this was 2E2E in Unicode is what, or in UTF-8. We'll get there. We'll get there. Uh, or maybe I can just do Unicode 2 E plus 2E2E. What be Z UTF-8? This, probably. FOAE B8 AE. Revert. Huh. Didn't quite get it right. FOAE B8 AE. Am I getting an Indianness wrong? Probably. Because we can't have nice things. Ooh. What is this we found? Vim. Insert Unicode code point. And give a U and then type the 4-digit hexadecimal code Unicode code point. Okay. So Control V U AE. Yeah. 2E. My bad. Control V U 2E. Hey, look at that. So that's all. And Vim, Control V, little U. Use the keystrokes, Luke. Bam. Success. I shouldn't have reached for XXD. I should have just used Vim. But I don't know. 2E or not 2E? Where is my output? Oh, or don't worry about it. I think make test racy did everything we needed it to. And builds and runs. I don't need to run all the tests over and over and over and over again. I just need to run ones that I didn't run right. How do I do this in Twitch chat? Would depend on your operating system. For me, Windows, insert Unicode code point. Holding down Alt and typing plus on the numeric keypad, followed by the hex code. Yeah, there you go. I got a lot of beeps from my Windows. It was upset. Ah! Alt, not the Windows key. I know how to compute. I don't know how to do it. Alt X. Huh. I guess I can just copy paste it. Control Shift Meta Alt Is that L for LinkedIn? Yeah. I think I saw those cursed shortcuts. There's one for Bing and one for probably Microsoft or whatever. The way to type it on Windows is you go and you find it in a piece of text, and then you Control C, Control V. I can't Control C. What? Oh, it's a little image there, not a thing. Okay, that's supposed to be the. Yeah, okay. Not to be confused with the Arabic question mark. Anyways, where were we? We were doing important things, very important things. Um, okay, so there's some data races. Yeah, we kind of expected that. Make dev haunts should not build. Make debug should fail. Yep, and make test DLV should fail. Oh, let's not fail for the wrong reason, shall we? No, this should work. It's make dev test really dev, which I don't know if we even define. Uh, Dev test should not build. Good. I mean, maybe I can do this, but eh. So these are not things anymore. They used to be. DLV-dev test used to do DLV test, but with the dev.go mod file, which is handy. I want that. Should this be test-dev? I think it should. This we have to do like the weird is the package set. But also mod file dev go mod. Ugh. Avert thine eyes. Control Shift U on Fedora. What does that do? Oh. Avert them. Avert thine eyes. This is no. I almost almost want this to not work. They should complain that there's no PKG set. What am I even doing here? It's build flags. Hooray! Control Shift U on Fedora for the for the irony mark. It's good that it's at hand. Okay. Question. Does this show me all the nitty-gritty details? If I run this in the command line, do I get the same thing? Yes. I don't echo the thing I'm doing, but I do get the prompt soon. Noise. That, rather than reinventing some kind of build infrastructure from the ground up, maybe we'll just call that good enough. Now I can use it everywhere and give a 10-minute PowerPoint on why it's so cool. Spread the knowledge. And the irony and sarcasm. Life's too short to be so serious. All the time. Alright, so what did we just do? We were like, rewrite our makefile. Use the new stuff. Change the new stuff too, because why not? Subtree. Add local commit. Okay, so okay, so if I did something like, hey, test report not make optimization, put the phonies first. Um, build lib, optimize by putting some foamy targets higher up in the file. Okay, so that added it as a commit on my haunts project. But if I did a git sub, not submodule, subtree, prefix, why do I don't want to get tab completion? Blah, 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 split, but squash? Okay, well, then we won't squash. That's more work than it needs to do. Assertion failed. Test build equals dot slash build. Yeah, they're not the same. Thanks for noticing. Git subtree. Prefix is build. Push. Need more terminals. HTTPS. Storm build lib. I think I called it. More terminals. Yes. No. Okay, it didn't do it, I think. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to. It's not that we want to create a subtree by importing. Okay. Merge recent changes into the prefix subtree. What if we do like it's split, except I don't want to split everything. Um, Yeah. When a previous merge with the squash merge and add to tag. Alright, I think I can just split it and trust Git to not freak out. Even though we just saw it do that. Uh, okay. Spelling matters. It's kind of annoying that it's got to walk everything. Okay. So we just have to push this to GitHub. Git push. Go. Now I can use it everywhere and give it 10. Yeah. I've decided that JSON sucks for my BI framework, but do I really want to rewrite it to protobuf? Is the question. It depends. If you want flexibility, JSON sucks, but it sucks less. If you want long-term reproducibility, protobuf is your friend. If you're gonna like store this data somewhere long-term, protobuf is your friend. If your data model is gonna evolve, you got to be careful with how you do it, but protobuf can be your friend. Whereas with JSON, you just kind of do it, and you know, the you from 5 months ago can suck it. I would do what I can to make JSON work, and then only when I've found that I can't make it work, not just that it sucks, um, that's when I'd look for alternatives. If that makes sense. Just learn that if you really need a little JSON, you can use link to medium.com post converting probably between JSON and protobufs. Yeah. I think that did what I wanted it to. Yes, indeed. Hooray. Okay. Now that was a pain in the butt, and I don't ever want to do that again. So let's go do that again, because I gotta do it again. Um, but maybe what we really want is a script for that. My problem is the entire code base is becoming brittle to data changes due to the fact that I need to validate everything all the time. And since I have pretty big JSONs, 1 megabyte in some cases, uh, the serialization is not good either. Like this, the overheads of serialization. Yeah. Yeah. The thing about Protobus is that you have to take on the mind. Well, the Protobuf tooling and landscape has the mindset of um, we will support old versions of the messages, um, and that can be a problem sometimes. Um, if you don't want like your like kind of like transport layer to fail, you have to like basically expect messages from since the dawn of time. Um, so you can end up with a lot of craft, but I don't know. It's very tempting to look at an alternative and say, oh, they probably have figured out all the problems that I'm having right now. And you can even see blog posts about like how Protobuf solves such and such a problem with brittle data. But at the end of the day, every framework, every library, every approach is going to have trade-offs. And so if you understand the trade-offs, that's how you make your decision. Um, and don't get conned into the grass is always greener on the other side. Maybe. Yeah. Um, check out build test report. No. Build. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, can we get away with just dropping this on top of glop and it just working? Do we use DLV build flags? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I guess I don't need the order only dependencies style here, but I'm not going to change it right now. Um, Oops. We need to .phony some of this stuff. I disagree. Oh, no. I'm wrong. You're right, Mike. You're right, Mike. Why would I ever question you? It used to be called DLV test, now it's called test dash DLV, or it used to be called dev test, now it's called test dash DEV. Um, it's always so hard to know when you are willing to put up with trade-offs due to the shiny new object syndrome. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know if I have good advice for what to do in those scenarios, but let's fix our compiler. And then now the things that used to fail ought to succeed. Yay. Yay. Ooh, tutorial. This should still fail because we didn't set package. We ought to be able to just run it. Hooray. Yeah. Okay. And then test dev is really the thing. Lovely. I guess we're greening. But yeah, add makefile and build testing. Tools, rejig, makefile to use. Build lib things for testing. TTD. It's a refactor, I guess. I'm not gonna commit that test. All right, gonna figure this out. Have a great stream. Thanks. Thanks for stopping by, Crazy. Good luck. Let me know if you come down on it one way or the other. We write tags no sound too many times. Do I have a handy dandy helper for running haunts under DLV without looking at the glop on disk? Or namely looking at the pinned version of glop instead? I don't know. I don't really care. Alright, so then what do we do with the subtree? Oh yeah. I'm annoyed that it's gotta look at everything. I think what I need to do, or want to do, is fetch and prune from origin. I just want to look at the contents of this. Can I push? Can I just use a path for the destination you provided is not a full ref name. I mean, refs, heads, boop. But, my goodness. I'm going to commit amend because this is not a good commit message for this project. Make testing and make work for aunts. Right? That's really what we did. And we'll push it. We're going to reset head hat. And then we're going to get subtree merge squash. Prefix is build from HTTPS. Eh? Oh. I think I need to pull, not merge. Pull, but squash, prefix, repository, ref. It's to make file. Great again. No. Much simpler. Sure. And then I need to find this and re-thinger it. And git show thinger makefile onto makefile. Yeah. And this should be amended. Yeah. 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 Make. We don't need the boop. Okay. We might be able to get back to working on the game instead of how do we build the game. But I think I'm happy if that means we can centralize our smarts and our makefile smarts. I prefer to have less smarts in the makefile, but tis what it is. Okay. Oh boy, I'm tired. Okay. 512 by 64. Yeah. Why you break? Don't break. It's the clicking. I remember. I remember. I start test. We try to click things, and if we don't have enough screen real estate, we don't get to click on top of the screen. Yep. 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 Okay. So this is 1024 by 750. So it's like, hey, make a window that's 1024 by 750 and try to put it on a screen that's 512 by 64 and then click at 805 245 and turns out that don't do nothing because there's no thing to click. You can't click where the right screen does not be okay. So what if we use a smaller size, like 512 by 64? It might look scuffed. I imagine a lot of things won't look the same, but we can look. Ugh, pardon me. I mean, that's 512 by 64, that's for sure. I don't like that the walls broke. Like, or maybe we just don't get to see the walls. Oh no, yeah, we just don't get to see the walls. The walls actually do get drawn. Good. Yeah. Turns out, how do we fix this problem? Huh? Um, what? Oh, yeah. It helps when you write the file that you've changed. Okay, 1024 by 750 is a much smaller screen than 1920 by 1080. Maybe that's what we should be using. I don't know if it's my brain or what, but it just makes more sense for me to do this. Oh, there you go. Um, so now in glop, if we do a thing like subtree prefixes build squash pull substree? No. Chore update build lib add refactor. It's somewhat not ideal, but that our tests don't realize that this is actually an input. That if it changes, we need to rerun the tests. But I'm fine with that. It doesn't change that often. Okay. I think uh, the sickness is encroaching. I'm gonna call it here. Um, we were able to make files not so awful. Um, they're still awful, but they're make files. They're gonna be awful. So thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you again next time.